What is going on, Rain Gang? What is going on, Ravens? Fuck, this is your boy Sutton Def back from the Purple Rain Podcast YouTube channel. And this is going to be like a Ravens news slash sudden thought slash happy hour, Friday happy hour with your boy Sutton Def, where you can kind of join the stream. You can talk in the comments in the chat section, sound off, and let me know what you're kind of thinking right now in your current state of the Ravens. Um, I've got a couple of things I want to touch on this one, but before I do get into any of that, right? Before I get into any of that, I do have to roll our intro. Again, this is Sutton Def from the Purple Rain Podcast YouTube channel. Yo, so like I said, this is your boy Sutton Def back from the Purple Rain Podcast YouTube channel, and this is going to be a Ravens News plus happy hour with your boy Sutton Def. That's right. It's a happy hour episode. Haven't done one of these in a long time, to be honest with you. But I figured, you know what? It's Friday. Why not check in with you guys? Why not have a little bit of fun? Why not talk some Ravens? And, the current assessment of the Ravens in my eyes, in your eyes, I want to hear it all from you guys. Let me know if you can hear me down below in the chat section. My guy RJ's in the house says, yes, sir, we live right now. We are live, RJ. Let me know if you can hear me right now, RJ. I would appreciate that. I'm using my little DJI mini mic today. So if you can hear me, let me know down below in the chat section. If you cannot hear me, let me know again, and I will switch my mics out to the other one. SG is in the house. What's going on, SG? Appreciate you for coming through. Listen, man, we're talking Ravens. You know what it is. We're talking Ravens. It's Ravens news plus happy hour with Sutton Def. You can hear me? Perfect. You guys see the little scroller on the bottom. This is happy hour. You can do a little donation. I'll take a little drink with you guys. It's Friday. Want to have some fun here on today's stream. But I want to talk about some things, some important information about the Ravens right now. I've been kind of going back and forth with guys on Twitter all day about the Ravens team and Lamar Jackson and this whole MVP race, John Harbaugh, EDC. Lots of things to talk about here today on this episode. So make sure you like this video. If you're watching on YouTube, make sure you like the video, subscribe to the channel as well. If you're watching on X right now, hello. Thank you for joining me on X. Maybe pop over to YouTube. I'd appreciate that. And then also, I am streaming for the first time on my personal Instagram account at Sutton Def. If you want to follow me on there, you can actually follow me at all of my socials at Sutton Def, like you see right there down below on X or Instagram at Sutton Def. It's all the same. You can find me pretty much anywhere. You can Google me, whatever. Also, of course, my co-host, I want to give a shout out to him on X. You can find him at simplyas10, on Instagram at simplyas10.prod. And then you can find us together on Instagram at the Purple Rain Podcast. Again, this is a Friday stream. I normally wouldn't do anything like this, but hey, look, I'm free. And, we're here. I want to talk about some Ravens news with you guys. It's Ravens news plus happy hour with Sutton Def. I'm taking a few drinks today, right? So you're going to get your unhinged Sutton thoughts about this Ravens team and really about anything. You can ask me about anything on this one. So as you can see, it's, if you want to donate a cool 5-piece to the chat, I'll take a drink on stream. If you want to donate a 10-piece to the chat, I will take a whole entire shot of tequila. You guys can see I got the bottles right here, right? The bottles right here of tequila, right? I'll take a shot for you on stream if you donate. Again, I don't always do this, but I figure we have some fun. It is Friday. The Ravens do play tomorrow. I'm thinking about doing this tomorrow as well. I kind of want to start going live during the games because I feel like that would be a lot of fun, like a boatload of fun, to be honest with you. I've done it only one time before. Me and my girlfriend, we went live for the Giants game, and I had so much fun on that stream. We were probably on stream for like an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours almost, and it was a lot of fun. You guys were chopping it up with me in the comments, and I was just having a blast. So I want to come back here, and I want to do this again for you guys. Let me see what we got here. Let me see what you guys are saying. Shamil Malik, what's going on? Shamil is in the house. What's going on? Appreciate you for coming through. Let me see. Spooky J says, best believe that Cleveland is coming to play. Remember how Max Crosby single-handedly kept the Raiders in that game against us. If we do not control Myles Garrett, this could be a close game. I agree with you to an extent. I do believe that right now the Browns are not necessarily feeling like they have a chance to win, right? And I don't say that to say that like there's no chance that they win. I just say that to say that like the Browns have nothing to play for right now. Okay, like they're not jockeying for playoff position, anything like that. Their season is over. It's been over, right? I think that really right now, I mean, they're going to come into M&T Bank Stadium. They're already in Baltimore right now as we speak. I'm sure they're going to come into M&T Bank Stadium kind of knowing what awaits them, right? They're going to go up against a Ravens team that has everything to play for. Meanwhile, they have nothing to play for. And like you said, Max Crosby single-handedly kept the Raiders in that game earlier in the season. I think it was week 2. Yeah, week 2 it was. But we're in week 18 right now, right? This is 16 weeks later, and the season has largely been decided for a lot of different teams in this league, and the Browns are one of those teams. Unfortunately for them, I don't really see them showing up with a whole lot to play for. Myles Garrett literally said yesterday, in a press conference that, we used to know how to defend Lamar Jackson. We used to just be able to kind of just, keep him in the pocket and force him to throw as much as possible. But then he said, well, now we really don't know what the hell to do. It's Lamar Jackson. You know what I mean? Like, he's running it all over the field. He's throwing it all over the field. We can't stop him. So I do agree. Again, I do agree that like the Browns are going to show up. It is a divisional rivalry. They know us very well. They're going to come to play football. That's for sure. But do I think that they'll have enough in the tank to compete and contend with a Ravens team who has everything on the line right now? And when I say everything, I mean literally the AFC North division title on the line right now. No, I don't. I don't think they're going to be able to compete and hold a candle to our Ravens. That's just me. That's just me. Appreciate you coming through, Spooky J. Appreciate you as always. Spencer in the house says Lamar Jackson has 442 pass attempts this year, only 4 interceptions, all 4 caused by drops or strips. Jackson for MVP. Spencer, thank you so much for coming through. Happy Friday to you, brother. Yeah, I was talking to a guy on X earlier about this morning, and he was saying that how Josh Allen, he had this the stats last year to back it up, him winning MVP, and Lamar didn't, but Lamar still ended up winning MVP. And my rebuttal was, Josh Allen last year did not have the number 1 seed like Lamar Jackson had. He also had 18 interceptions last season, right? I believe Lamar Jackson has 7 interceptions last season, if I'm not mistaken. You guys can correct me if I'm wrong. It's either 7 or 8. But you combine the interceptions from last season to this season for Lamar Jackson, what you got? 8, 9, 10, 11 interceptions total, maybe 12 if I'm wrong, if I'm off by 1. Even still, 2 seasons combined, Lamar Jackson does not have as many interceptions as Josh Allen had in 2023. So to me, that kind of says it right there. And to me also, let me just say this. When we talk about interceptions are the ultimate value killer, right? When it comes to football, when it comes to quarterbacks, right? Because when you think about an interception, what that does, the point swing, depending on where you are on the field, right? If you're in an area where you throw an interception and the team is the defense is automatically going to put their offense in field goal range, that's a big point swing. That's at least like a 3 to 6 point swing, right? So when you talk about value in interceptions, if you throw 18 of those, if 18 times you give the other team an opportunity to score points and you take away an opportunity for your team to score points, that is a value killer. And I've never been an advocate of somebody winning MVP with a bunch of interceptions under their belt for the seasons. That's just never been me. That's just never been me, man. So, with that being said, I cannot justify giving Josh Allen the MVP last year with 18 interceptions. Just like if Lamar Jackson had 18 interceptions this year, I would not justify giving him MVP. It's just as simple as that. So, but 442 pass attempts, only 4 interceptions. That's like what? Every 112 or something like that. I haven't done the math correctly in my head, but let me know if I'm wrong. Like 112, every 112 attempts, an interception. That is insane. That is absolutely incredible. Like, nobody's doing that. Let me see. We got Devon Johnson in the house, says PRP happy hour. What's going on, Devon? Appreciate you for coming through. Sip to Tally Films. What's going on, Coach? Says happy hour. Where the drinks at? Hey, man, the drinks are right here, man. You know what I'm saying? I'm pouring up today on this happy hour. I might give you guys an inaugural shot, right? Just to get things going here. My guy, Coach, man. You know what? I'll pour up an inaugural shot. First shot for my guy Coach, because Coach has been putting in work for years now. Coach has been putting in work for years. We have to get him on the show. I got to talk to Alex. I'm sure Alex agrees. We always bring him up on the show, but this one's going to be for Coach, right? I'm going to start it off for him. We're going to get things kicked off. Hey, Coach said he's mashing. Coach said he's mashing. This one's for you, Coach. This first one's for you. Woo! Man, that's that tequila right there, man. That's that tequila right there, man. Salute. Salute. For sure, for sure. Yeah. So here we go. Here we go. Attitude Pop in the building says the MVP is a pity and sympathy award. They're basically saying Lamar has to let Josh get one. Does that make any sense? What other quarterback do we do that with? They don't do this to Brady or Peyton or A-Rod. I agree. But you know what? I think we're in a very interesting transitional phase of this league right now. I do. And what I mean by that is, we're used to, let's say, like, rewind 20 years ago, right? Maybe even 15 years ago, 10 years ago. We did not have nearly as many mobile quarterbacks, dual threat quarterbacks in the league as we do right now in the present day NFL. You know what I mean? So, with that being said, I just really, really think that the way that we're judging and criticizing these quarterbacks is going through a little bit of growing pains. The criteria is going through growing pains. Okay, the criteria for judging these quarterbacks is going through growing pains, and I think that Lamar Jackson is largely a victim of that. He is. He's a victim of that. You know, because nobody else in the history of the NFL has gotten judged so harshly by the amount of weapons that they have. The Ravens have 9 Pro Bowlers. I'm sorry, 8 excluding Lamar Jackson. 8 Pro Bowlers. That leads the league. That leads the league, right? And I think that now more than ever, media pundits, AP voters, MVP voters, they are taking that into consideration. And I think that's so unfair. I think that's so unfair because back when Peyton Manning had Reggie Wayne and Marvin Harrison and Edgerrin James, right? Back when Tom Brady had the likes of Randy Moss and people like that, guys like that, nobody was knocking them for the weapons that they had, right? They weren't. I was around to see it. They were not knocking those guys for the weapons that they had. But now you see guys saying, oh, Lamar Jackson doesn't deserve MVP because all the help that he has, all the help. And what I would say to combat that argument, that atrocious argument, right? What I would say to combat that is, hey, look, man, look what Lamar Jackson had up until this point in his career. Go back to the 2019 MVP and look who he was throwing to. Okay. Look who he was throwing to. I mean, we're talking about Miles Boykin. We're talking about Seth Roberts. We're talking about Willie Snead. We're talking about Marquise Hollywood Brown, who, no disrespect to Marquise Hollywood Brown, right? But I mean, even still to this day, Marquise Hollywood Brown is not a top 10 wide receiver. Let's not act like he's that with the Chiefs. I know he hasn't played all year pretty much. He's only played a couple of games so far with the Chiefs since he's been back. But, even with the Cardinals, I mean, I'm not going to say like, what did he do as in, he didn't do anything. But at the same time, he has not been like, wide receiver 1 caliber. So I say all that to say, why are we judging Lamar Jackson because of the weapons that he has? That doesn't make any sense to me. It's totally unfair. It's totally unfair, you know? So, yeah, attitude, you're saying the MVP is a pity and sympathy award this year. They're basically saying Lamar has 2, so let Josh get 1. Yeah, I saw Dan Orlovsky. He said the same thing. And here's my thing. I don't hate Dan Orlovsky. I'm going to put that out there right now. I do not hate Dan Orlovsky because Dan Orlovsky has stood up for Lamar Jackson at multiple times in his tenure with ESPN. He has. But right now, I think that his analysis is a little bit off, a lot of it off, right? He voted for Lamar Jackson last year, even when Lamar Jackson did not have the passing stats to match Josh Allen. But again, I would argue the interceptions are what really matters to me. Because it's a value killer. If we really look at what value means, right? Getting the bang for your buck. That's the bro definition. That's the real definition of the word value, right? Getting bang for your buck. If you're giving your buck away, right, by throwing multiple 18 interceptions in a season, and again, these are unhinged Sutton thoughts right now. You're getting these with the happy hour. I don't want to apologize because it is what it is. I'm doing this on purpose. 18 interceptions. You're literally giving away your value. You're giving it away because you're taking yourself and your whole entire offense off of the field. You're taking them off of the field to put the opposing team's offense on the field to give them a chance to kill you. You're doing that. I mean, that's a value killer to me. It's a value killer to me. Now, I want to get back to what Attitude is saying here. It's a pity award. Lamar Jackson's already won 2. If Lamar hadn't already won 2 MVPs, would we still be having this conversation? I think that's a very valid question. And I apologize if I'm rambling here. Again, this is happy hour with Sutton. You guys see the ticker on the bottom. You can donate a little bit. I'll take some more drinks, whatever. But and I don't do this all the time. But if we're evaluating it like this, Lamar Jackson, if he did not have the 2 MVPs already to this point, would we still be having this conversation? I don't think we would. If Lamar Jackson was Jaden Daniels right now, right? If he was a rookie, right? If he hadn't won any MVPs prior, if this was unprecedented, Lamar being in contention for for MVP, would we be having this conversation truly? Because if the answer is no, if Lamar Jackson was Jaden Daniels right now, he would be leaps and above MVP. Or let me just exclude Jaden Daniels from the chat right now. Let me exclude Jaden Daniels from the chat. Lamar Jackson was a rookie. Point blank period. Would we be having this conversation? If he was a rookie and still putting up these same numbers, what is that? 43 touchdowns? 43 touchdowns to 4 interceptions. Right? About 4,000 passing yards. Almost 4,000 passing yards. He's like 50 away, something like that. Would we be having the same conversation? I don't think we would. I think it's just because of the fact that it's Lamar Jackson. He's already won 2. He hasn't won a Super Bowl yet. That's the context, the unnecessary context, might I add, because this is a regular season award. Let me remind everybody. This is a regular season award. It has nothing to do with your performance in the postseason, right? It has nothing to do with, honestly, to be quite frank, it has nothing to do with your weapons around you, because it never has before. Before, it's always been about numbers. It's always been about numbers and what you've been able to do, right? It's always been about what we've been able to, as fans and as media pundits, whatever you want to call it, look at the stat sheet and see what you have produced over the years. That's what it's always been about. It's always been about that until this year. And last year again, people want to say, oh, Josh Allen had better stats than Lamar Jackson throwing the football. Sure. But look at the interceptions. A value killer. Interceptions are a value killer. If you're a Bills fan watching this, I need you to get that through your skull right now. I need you to get that through your skull right now. Interceptions are a value killer. All right, let me see what else you guys are saying here in the chat. Taquan in the house, what's up, Sutton? Hope you're having a good Friday and happy Purple Friday. Yes, I'm having a great Friday, honestly. I'm having an amazing Friday right now. I appreciate you for coming through, Taquan. As always, you are a true friend of the show. You are, and I mean that from the bottom of my heart. You always come through. You always support. Love you. Let me see. Don Royal says, when did Zay and Bateman become Chase and Higgins? That's a great question. That's a great question, Don. That's a great question. You know, I don't know. I just think that a lot of I think here's what it is. Here's what it is. I'll tell you, Don. I'll tell you exactly what it is, Don. A lot of people have not watched Ravens games this year. And what I mean by that is this. A lot of people will look at the numbers that Lamar Jackson is putting up and they will assume that his receiver talent and his weapons are doing all the work for him. Because what they think is that Lamar Jackson is a rushing quarterback and that's just what he is. He's a running back, whatever. They've been saying that since day one, right? But what they miss is how Lamar Jackson keeps plays alive in order to let these guys thrive. Let me say that again. Lamar Jackson keeps plays alive in order to let his guys thrive. He does. That happens a lot of the time, not all of the time. Not all of the time. But here's where the surplus comes in. When Lamar Jackson gets out of the pocket, when the offensive line, the pocket breaks down, Lamar can get out of the pocket and can make a play downfield. We've seen him do it multiple times throughout his career. We've seen him do it multiple times this year alone, right? And that's my point here. That's my point. I feel like a lot of other fans of other teams in the NFL don't see that, right? And they're saying, oh, Zay and Bateman have what, almost 15 touchdowns combined this year, something like that, right? Let me know how off I am with that, but I think it's somewhere around there, right? Um, I think Bateman has 8. I think Zay might have 4, right? Which makes for 12. And so they're close to that 15 mark, right? They're about 3 off. Maybe one of them gets a touchdown this week against the Browns. Who knows, right? But that's what we're talking about here. To be honest with you, that I think that's truly what we're talking about. People think that Zay and Bateman, just looking at the pure numbers, have been mussing guys, have been, you know, but no, it's just the fact that Lamar Jackson is Lamar Jackson. He can extend a play, he can keep a play alive. I don't want to take anything away from Zay and Bateman because those guys can get open. They get good separation. But why? You got to ask yourself why. Because they have time to do so. They have time to do so. Lamar Jackson is so hard to get. He's so hard to get on the ground. That's why these guys have time. Let me see what else you guys are saying. Thea Pino, what's going on, Thea Pino the fourth? Appreciate you for coming through. Says what's going on, Sutton. Appreciate you, man. Coach says this for the first shot, no need for another. Hey man, I'm good, man. I'm not a lightweight out here, man. I got you, man. It's Friday. It's Friday. But appreciate you for the super chat donation, Coach, man. I truly do appreciate you. You were one of the inspirations that I had getting into this whole YouTube realm a couple of years ago. And again, I really, really do appreciate you for coming through, for donating, for matching my first shot, man. I appreciate that. I'm gonna take a drink to you. I'm gonna take a drink to you. I'm gonna take a drink to you. Yeah, that's Sit to Tally Films, man. Sip to Tally Films. Let me see what else we got here. Attitude Pop also says people on Twitter or other socials say there isn't racism in the NFL or everything ain't about race, but you can't tell me this does not have anything to do with the race and who Lamar is. You know, this is very interesting. This is very interesting. Let me bring up Attitude Pop's comment on here. And again, thank you so much, Coach, for this first super chat donation of the stream. Love you, Coach. Appreciate you for coming through. Got to get you on the show. Honestly, if you're down, come on stream. If you're down, come on stream. Let me check my Twitter DMs. Make sure nobody wants to come on stream. Um, nobody yet. Nobody yet. Nobody yet. If you do come on stream, you guys see it down below. DM me on X at Sutton Def. I will send you the link to come on stream and we can talk it up about Ravens. But to address Attitude Pop's comment here, not everything is about race. I will say that. Not everything is about race, but some things are. Some things are. And the way I'll put it is like this. Um, let's say hypothetically speaking, right? Let's say a Sam Darnold, for example, had the exact same numbers as Lamar Jackson right now. Not only would he be far and away comeback player of the year, I think he would be MVP. I think he would be MVP. If he had, think about it, because Sam Darnold's numbers right now are not too far off from the likes of Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen, Joe Burrow, all those guys. Sam Darnold's having an amazing season. But if he had all the same rushing stats as well, on top of the passing stats that he had right now, the media would say, hey, look, it's because it's the expectation. It's the expectation. That's what it is. Nobody expects for Sam Darnold to do what Lamar Jackson is doing. You know, so that's where kind of like the caveat comes in. That's where kind of the difference we see comes in. You know what I mean? If Sam Darnold rushed for 800 something odd yards, had 4 or 5 rushing touchdowns, right? And then was putting up the same passing numbers as Lamar Jackson, the entire league would be saying, oh, Sam Darnold is shocking the world right now. He deserves MVP. It's the sheer fact that Lamar Jackson is not shocking anybody right now. We know how talented Lamar Jackson is, you know? And when we talk about this MVP conversation, MVP is only supposed to be about regular season. But when people assess Lamar Jackson in 2024 and now 2025, you know, they're not only thinking about the regular season, and that's the issue. Okay, that's the issue. That's the problem, you know. And again, like I said, not all of it is about race, but the fact that Sam Darnold, who is a white quarterback, he happens to be a white quarterback, and Lamar Jackson, who happens to be a black quarterback, you know, if Sam Darnold was putting up the same numbers, a white quarterback again, if Sam Darnold was putting up the exact same numbers as Lamar Jackson, black quarterback, right now, you know, can you imagine? Can you imagine the narratives in the media? Sam Darnold would be right up there. He'd be right there. And I think that they would give him the unanimous nod over a Josh Allen. I do. I do. Because listen, Lamar Jackson, every statistical category is beating out Josh Allen. It just is what it is. I mean, Lamar Jackson, if you go look at it right now, besides passing touchdowns, you tell me where Josh Allen is beating Lamar Jackson right now. So again, I say that to say, if Sam Darnold had those same stats as Lamar Jackson right now, we would not be having this conversation. That's my point. We would not be having this conversation at all. It would be, oh, Sam Darnold for MVP. Are you kidding me? Sam Darnold rushing for 800 something yards? Sam Darnold throwing for almost 4,000 passing yards? 40 touchdowns? Are you kidding me? He'd be MVP. So again, it's not all about race, but I think some of it has to do a little bit, just a little bit in the back of voters' minds. Again, the NFL right now is going through a very, very big transitional period when it comes to quarterbacks, right? No longer the days where Tom Brady, Peyton Manning, Aaron Rodgers, Drew Brees, Ben Roethlisberger, again, all white quarterbacks. Again, I'm not trying to be, you guys know, right? You guys know me. If you listen to my podcast, me and Alex, we talk all the time. We don't normally bring race into the conversation. But since the landscape of the league, the layout of the league is changing, it's changing very, very actively. I think we have to acknowledge that. We got to acknowledge that, right? It just is what it is. All right, let me see what else you guys are saying in here. Huddle It Up Films, my guy Jason. What's going on, Jason? Says, what's up, Purple Rain Gang? What's up, Sut? Missing our guy Alex. Hope everyone's good. Happy New Year. Happy New Year to you, Huddle It Up Films. Man, listen, man. My guy Jason, make sure you go follow him, subscribe to him on YouTube as well. He puts out really, really good film content. You know what I mean? Me and Alex, we're not huge film guys, so if you're looking for like film breakdowns, things like that, you're going to want to go here. Go there. Also, again, my guy Sit to Sally Films. Coach, go there. If you want film content, go there. I'm not even going to fake like I know football just as good as these guys. Like I always tell you, I'm your number one fanalist. I'm your number one fanalist, right? Like, I don't know football as good as some of these guys, but I do know what I'm talking about when it comes to these Ravens, and especially when it comes to Lamar Jackson. Let me see. KP says, but I do know if the stats will reverse with Josh Allen and Lamar, they would give MVP to Josh Allen in a heartbeat. Ooh, yeah, I mean, that too. That too. It would be a no-brainer, right? It'd be a no-brainer. It'd be a no-brainer. And some people say, oh, it should have been a no-brainer last year. Josh Allen had better stats. But no. Number one, he did not have the 1 seed. And if you're not a quarterback wins is a quarterback stat kind of guy, sure. But 18 interceptions, how can you justify that? How can you justify that? If you disagree with me, let me know. Let me know down below in the chat section because I don't agree with you. How can you justify that? 18 interceptions. To me, again, I'll say it again. Interceptions are a value killer. You're literally taking when I think about value, I think about currency, right? I think about money, opportunities, right? When I think about value, I think about opportunity. When you throw an interception, you take an opportunity away from your team and you put it in the pocket of another team. That is a value killer. So 18 of those, no. Especially considering Lamar Jackson had 18 interceptions in the last 2 years combined. Combined. The last 2 seasons combined. You know what I'm saying? So I just, yeah. Yeah. Jason says Lamar is having one of the best passing seasons ever and still has 850 rushing yards. It's an all-time great season. Again, imagine this. Imagine if Tom Brady in his MVP seasons just decided to also rush for 800 yards. Can you imagine? Can you imagine how we would be regarding that as literally the greatest quarterback season ever? No one's topping it, period. Can you imagine if Tom Brady also just decided to run for 1,000 yards, even 800 yards in the seasons where he was putting up 30, 40, 50 touchdowns? Can you imagine? I can't. Can't. Sean in the house says, "Sup, thanks. But I just got here. What's going on, Sean? Appreciate you for coming through." He says he's about to rewind the last part. Hopefully catch this as well. Let me see. All right, what else you guys are saying? Sean says we as black people say he's the MVP, but we can't get the same in return. Attitude Pop says everyone and their mom is saying Lamar Jackson should be the MVP. Hall of Famers are telling us this too, but Josh Allen fans and Bills fans and his PR team are pushing the agenda. They are. They are. And, a lot of the arguments that they're using are, to me, are very kind of null and void. A lot of people are saying, oh, again, last season, Josh Allen had the better stats, but I've already debunked that. You know what I mean? And they're also going to say a couple of more things too about Josh Allen this year. Some people are even saying Josh Allen has the better highlight tape. Josh Allen has the better film this year over Lamar Jackson. And, to the people that are saying that, I would love emphasis on love. I would love for them to join my live stream right now. And we can go highlight for highlight, as the kids would say, band for band, with tape, with Lamar Jackson versus Josh Allen. Because I promise you, I'm not wearing a Lamar Jackson jersey right now. I'm wearing a 4-4 Marlon Humphrey jersey because he's been playing out of his mind. Pro Bowler, Marlon Humphrey, that is to you. I promise you, you will not show me better tape from Josh Allen than what we've seen from Lamar Jackson. You just won't. In terms of throwing the football, right? In terms of how he impacts the running game, even when the play does not go in his hands, right? Even when it goes to Derrick Henry, even when it goes to Justice Hill. You know what I mean? Just the sheer misdirection, right? That you get from these guys, that you get from Lamar Jackson when these other guys are on the field. I'm just saying, it's not the same. It's not the same. And Sean's right. Yeah, they don't want to go band for band. They don't want to go band for band. They just don't. I was talking to a Bills fan this morning on Twitter, and he was talking about the interceptions. Oh, and let me bring this to you guys. He was talking about the interceptions, and it was so fun to me because he was talking about how Josh Allen's 18 interceptions last year weren't all his fault. A lot of them were, arm punts, right? And the famous arm punt, which I will admit that has been a term predating Josh Allen. But they were saying arm punts. They were saying, tip passes, things like that, making every excuse in the book. You know what I'm saying? And it's just like, to me, I'm thinking about Lamar Jackson and his 4 interceptions. You can count them on one hand. 18 weeks. Think about that. Think about that. If you're a Bills fan watching right now, think about that. Here we are in week 18 of the NFL season. And this guy, Lamar, shout out to the street vendors in Baltimore, got me this. Week 18, he's got 4 interceptions. 4. You can count them on one hand. And when you look at those interceptions, none of them were really, really, truly, solely on Lamar Jackson. Now, I'm not a guy who likes to take blame away for interceptions. I really don't. But when you go back and actually look at those plays and look at how many of those passes, again, there's only 4 times. Again, count them, 4. How many of those passes bounced off of a receiver's hands? Whether it was Rashad Bateman, whether it was Mark Andrews, whether it was Justice Hill getting one literally taken away out of his hands. You know what I'm saying? And shout out to Sarah Ellison as well. Shout out to Sarah Ellison, SG Ellison on X. She does the podcast with Bobby Baltimore, friend of the show, The Vault, leading Ravens podcast on the web right now. Shout out to them. She's been getting national media attention from the likes of guys like Emmanuel Acho. I want to say Dan Orlovsky gave her a shout. I can't quite remember if that was true or not, but I know Emmanuel Acho for sure. Of course, she's had Mark Schlereth on her pod, and of course, shout out to Bobby Baltimore as well. But she was basically saying, and what's the other guy's name? Peter Schrager, from NFL Network, basically letting them know, like, Lamar's thrown 4 picks this season. None of those picks were really, really solely on Lamar Jackson. So when you take that into account, man, it is you really have to kind of rethink and reevaluate your stance on Lamar Jackson not winning the MVP, if that's the side of the table you're on, because they were trying to tell me, the guys on X were trying to tell me, a lot of those interceptions last year from Josh Allen didn't count because they were either arm punts, tip passes, yada, yada, yada. And I was telling them, like, hey, if that's the logic we're going by, right? If that's the logic we're going with, then, hey, Lamar Jackson, a lot of those picks that he threw this year shouldn't count, right? A lot of those picks. And again, there's only 4. Count them, 4. All 4 were not necessarily his fault. So if that's the logic we're going by, then Lamar Jackson has 43 touchdowns, no interceptions. What's the problem? Like what's the issue, right? What is the issue with giving Lamar Jackson his 3rd MVP? Why is voter fatigue a thing, right? Why can't we just give it to the guy who has the best case? And right now, Lamar has the best case. And the best case that Bills fans and Josh Allen fans are making right now is that, it's just his time. Lamar already has 2. Why not give Josh Allen one? And that's why I think Attitude Pop said it earlier. It's a sympathy award. It's a sympathy award, man. That's what it is. Let me see. Jason says, as a film guy, there's no way you can convince me that teams have to prepare as much for Josh Allen as they do for Lamar Jackson. The quarterback-driven run game alone makes Lamar Jackson harder to prepare for. Totally agree with this, Jason. Totally agree with this, because the amount of designed runs, right, and just the sheer fact that Lamar Jackson, again, or not even Lamar, but the Ravens will design plays for Lamar to specifically keep the ball. And we saw that against the Texans on Christmas Day, where, there's the read to Derrick Henry. He pulls it out of Derrick Henry and runs it for a touchdown. Josh Allen isn't making plays like that. Okay. Josh Allen is scrambling, right, against man coverage, getting out into open space, and using his big body to break a tackle or two and get in the end zone. And we've seen that maybe a couple of times this season from Josh Allen. Again, I don't want to take stuff away from Josh Allen. I just don't, you know. But the coverages, the types of coverages that Lamar is facing versus what Josh Allen is facing, again, I think Josh Allen is facing more man. Lamar Jackson is facing more zone, because you literally cannot turn your back on Lamar Jackson. You can't. And that's what makes it harder to prepare for Lamar Jackson for. That's the reason why Lamar Jackson is way harder to prepare for. So, again, do with that what you will, but it is what it is, man. It is what it is. All right. See what else we got here. My guy Pope, what's going on, Pope? Appreciate you for coming through, man. I love you, brother. I love you so much, man. I appreciate Pope for coming through. Thank you for joining Happy Hour with Sutton Def here on the Purple Rain Podcast YouTube channel, #Ravens Podcast. As you guys can see, Pope is a Washington Commanders fan. I'm very happy for him and his squad. Jaden Daniels is, I don't want to say the second coming of Lamar Jackson, because I think Jaden Daniels is his own superstar in the making. I really do think that. I think he has a ways to go, for sure, just like any rookie quarterback does. But really happy for what that team is putting together this year. They're in the playoffs again. Like I said earlier in another episode, I think they're probably going to play the Rams or somebody like that in the wild card. I cannot wait to see what he does against them. But Pope says, do not know how I would get fatigued voting for Lamar Jackson, career passing and rushing, as well as receiving or reviving Derrick Henry's career. Yeah, man. And, some people would say, oh, you can't say that, oh, he revived Derrick Henry's career. But if you look at what he was doing in Tennessee last year, it does not hold candle to what he's doing in Baltimore this year. And he's a year older. So you got to take that into consideration. You have to take that into consideration, right? Derrick Henry is still flirting with the record right now. He's second behind Saquon Barkley. Saquon Barkley was still trying to get that record, beat Eric Dickerson, but of course he's going to sit this week. Derrick Henry, again, still flirting with it. If he breaks off some big runs, which I don't necessarily think is going to happen. We're playing the Browns, right? If we get up big, we're going to pull the starters. So I don't think he's going to rush for big yardage, but like Pope says here, I don't know how you can get fatigued voting for Lamar. If you actually watch Lamar Jackson play, if you watch him play, it's like, okay, this guy, here's the problem. A lot of people only watch Lamar Jackson play either on primetime or in the playoffs. One of the two. Outside of that, they're probably fans of other teams who they're watching their teams play on Sundays, which, again, that's fair. That's fair. I mean, I understand that. Like, I don't watch every team's quarterback play, so I can't really, speak on every other quarterback. I mean, I have watched a lot of Josh Allen games. I have, because he's been compared a lot to my quarterback. But I get it from the perspective of, fans of other teams, right? But if you actually watch the games, you will see how special Lamar Jackson is year in and year out. It doesn't matter. It does not matter the fact that this guy has won 2 MVPs at this point in his career in year 7. He's already got 2 under his belt. It doesn't matter. If you actually watch him play, you will see why he has gotten those 2 MVPs, and you will see why, based off of his performance, based off of the eye test. If you just open your eyes and you watch Lamar Jackson play, you will see why this guy is in contention for another MVP. Let me see. Pope also says he also created B. Moore's first wide receiver Pro Bowler, and he makes everyone around him better. I agree with both of those statements as well. Big shout out to Zay Flowers getting his first Pro Bowl again. Zay Flowers is the first Ravens wide receiver to make the Pro Bowl. That's not a coincidence, right? I think that has a lot to do with Lamar Jackson. Hell, Hollywood Brown might have been the first drafted Ravens wide receiver to make the Pro Bowl had he stuck with the Ravens. At this point, I guarantee you Hollywood Brown would be a Pro Bowler. So again, it just goes to show how much Lamar Jackson elevates the talent all around him. And people want to talk about, oh, Lamar and the Ravens, they have 8 Pro Bowlers excluding Lamar Jackson. So that's the way that we can kind of discredit Lamar Jackson for winning MVP, because how can he be more valuable than Josh Allen or any other quarterback who's kind of jockeying for position in this MVP race? How can he be more valuable, Lamar Jackson, if he has the most Pro Bowls on his team? But I would argue, again, the inverse of that same argument. He has literally made a lot of these guys look better. You know what I'm saying? I told this to one of my buddies on X today. He literally boosts the XP on all the other players on that offense, right? Daniel Falele. Daniel Falele, the Ravens starting right guard all season, right, has been heavily criticized, heavily scrutinized by Ravens fans, the Ravens flock, Ravens media, even about how lackluster his play, how average his play has been. He's been good in spots, but has he been consistent? No. Has he been consistent enough to get a not a Super Bowl, but a Pro Bowl alternate spot? I would say no. Not over everybody else in the AFC. I would say no. But the sheer fact that he has a Lamar Jackson in his backfield, that when Daniel Falele is wrong, Lamar Jackson can make him look right, that has something to do with Lamar Jackson's value as a player. You know what I'm saying? The fact that he can make Falele miss a block, right? But Lamar Jackson saw, Falele missed a block. Let me go ahead and shuffle over here in the pocket because I'm so good, right? With my legs, I can shuffle over here in the pocket. I can shuffle over there and put my guys in a better position to get their blocks back. And if you go back and watch the tape, that has happened on numerous occasions this year. Numerous occasions, right? So, man, again, Lamar Jackson makes everybody around him better. And I think that has a lot to do with the amount of Pro Bowl selections, at least on offense, that we have. Just saying. Just saying. Let me see. Zeke Hokage in the building. Sutton was good, bro. And everyone, what's going on, Zeke? Appreciate you for coming through. We got Slicer59 says, who cares? All sensible fans want is a Super Bowl win. And if Lamar wins the Super Bowl MVP, then so be it. Josh Allen can go and get the MVP. Yes. Yes. I agree with this, Slicer. I do. I am more concerned about Lamar Jackson winning a Super Bowl MVP than a regular season MVP. For sure. For sure. But at the same time, I don't want Lamar Jackson to be robbed of an MVP because of narrative. At the same time, I don't want Lamar Jackson to be robbed of an MVP because of voter fatigue, because of context, because of politics. I just don't. When you look at the eye test, right? And even if we looked at the eye test last year between Lamar Jackson and Josh Allen, I would still give the nod to Lamar. And if we look at the eye test this year, I'm giving the nod to Lamar. And I'm a Ravens fan, right? You guys can see it. I'm a Ravens fan. This is the Purple Rain Podcast YouTube channel. We talk about Ravens on here majority of the time. I'm a Ravens fan, so I get it. But at the same time, again, if you are using your eyes, right? And there's been multiple people around the world, right? And let's just stick to the national media here. There's been people around the national media who have said time and time again, when you watch Lamar Jackson, nobody holds a candle to him. Nobody holds a candle to him. So it just is what it is. And I know you guys can hear my dog in the background right now. It is what it is, man. He's gonna calm down in just a second here. Let me see. What is the stats? He's never blocking anybody most of the time. Sean Cole says John has been extremely stubborn about Daniel Falele. He has. You guys saw it. Me and Alex talked about it last night on the show. John Harbaugh has been very, very victory lappish about Daniel Falele. And I don't know how I feel about that. I don't know how I feel about that, to be honest with you. Because it'll be one thing if Daniel Falele started off the season bad, right? Like in the first 3-4 weeks of the season, he was not good. And then he just made a total 180 and started playing like an all-pro right guard. But he hasn't, right? He's been inconsistent, very, very inconsistent. You know what I'm saying? Week in and week out. So for John Harbaugh to be like, oh, yeah, I told you so. Daniel Falele was our guy. People were saying, oh, when are you going to beat Falele? And we didn't budge. We didn't listen. It's like, okay. You're saying that's going to make him more confident, Falele. You're saying that's going to make Falele more confident in the playoffs? No. That's going to put more pressure on that young man. And I don't want to be the guy that has to get on here and say, like, hey, I told you so. If Falele struggles in the playoffs, if he gives up a couple sacks, pressures, things like that, I don't want to have to sit here and be the guy, because I'm a Ravens fan. Again, I want to be wrong about this. I don't want to have to be the guy to say, like, oh, yeah, I told you so. Falele wasn't the guy. But if this is what it takes for Harbaugh to really kind of wake up and open his eyes to, like, hey, get your head out of your ass, right? For lack of better words, and make the right decisions for the betterment of the team. If that's what it's going to take, then so be it. Then so be it, man. I'm just saying. And I think here's where we can kind of transition a little bit. I've talked about Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, this whole MVP race for probably the last 30 to 40 minutes at this point. But let me talk about this. I think it was Cordell Woodland on Twitter who reports for the Ravens. Shout out to him. He was asking this morning, he was saying, John Harbaugh's contract goes through next season, right? So we got the remaining of this season and next season. And that's it for his contract. Should the Ravens extend John Harbaugh? Should they give him another deal? I want everybody in the chat right now, everybody listening right now, to sound off in the chat room, whether you're watching on Instagram, whether you're watching on X, whether you're watching on YouTube, whatever. Let know in the chat right now, would you want John Harbaugh back on this team? Do you want the Ravens to re-sign John Harbaugh as head coach? While you guys are doing that, I'll start off with my take. I've been on the fence about this for a while. I've been on the fence about this for a long time right now. But I think I have to agree with DG here. I have to agree with DG. It depends on how the playoffs go. It really does. Because my biggest thing is the Ravens knew back in 2017, John Harbaugh, his message was getting stale. His scheme, his kind of coaching philosophy was getting stale within this Ravens franchise, within the organization, right? So much so that Steve Bisciotti, Ravens owner, was getting ready to move off of him. He was getting ready to move off of him. But insert Lamar Jackson, the Ravens get turned up again. And all of a sudden, nobody's thinking about John Harbaugh and his job security anymore. And that's something that was very, very interesting to me. Because nobody in the national media really talks about the fact, other than actual Ravens fans. No one in the national media talks about the fact that John Harbaugh was indeed on the hot seat in 2017 before Lamar Jackson was drafted. So, and I give credit to John for bringing in Lamar and really building around him and adapting his style of play in order to suit the Ravens. But my thing is, 7 years into the Lamar Jackson era, we have 0 Super Bowl rings and 2 playoff wins. Only 2, you know? So that's a problem. That's an issue. But listen, we do have a super chat donation coming in here from the Don. What's going on, Don? Appreciate you coming through, dropping the 10 piece in the chat. Thank you so much, Don. Hey, and look, you guys see the little ticker on the bottom. You guys know what that means. It's time. It's happy hour with Sutton. It's time for a shot of tequila. You know what it is. Don says, I happen to know a guy who does highlight videos, aka Alex, simply AS10, my co-host. Love him. Says, would love to see highlights of Josh's and Lamar's 2024 season. Lamar would take longer, I'm guessing. Screw Bills Mafia. They're haters. Hey, man, I'm telling you. I got to talk to Alex about this because nobody seems to want to go band for band. Nobody wants to go highlight for highlight when it comes to Lamar versus Josh Allen highlights. Nobody wants to do it. Before I get into anything else, I got to take a shot from my guy, Don. He said, sorry for the typos, man. It's all good. It's all good, man. You're a GOAT here. You are a true Purple Rain pioneer. That's why this shot goes for you. This shot goes for you. You guys see the ticker on the bottom. You donate $10. Sutton will take a shot on camera as I'm about to do right now. This is for the Don right down below. Appreciate you for coming through. Cheers to you, brother. Woo! That was tough. But we do it. We move. But yeah, I got to talk to Alex about this because Alex is the GOAT highlight editor on YouTube when it comes to NFL highlights, of course. I don't know if he does other sports. I think he has like maybe once or twice before, but not normally. He doesn't. So I got to talk to Alex about that. But yeah, man, if we want to go highlight for highlight, I want a Bills fan, actually. I want a Bills fan to come on the show and really chop it up with me and just kind of tell me whether or not they can go highlight for highlight with me when it comes to Lamar Jackson's highlights. I don't think they can. I've seen the majority of Josh Allen's highlights this season, and Josh Allen is a phenomenal football player. A phenomenal football player. But in the words of the famous Kendrick Lamar, it's not enough. It's not enough. At least not this season. It's not enough, you know? And, even if we don't want to look at the head-to-head matchup, right? Even if we don't want to look at the head-to-head matchup, that's fine. Look at the numbers. Look at the film. Look at the tape. Look at just the degree of difficulty, right? Josh Allen benefits from, his size when it comes to running the football. Lamar Jackson benefits from his finesse, right? And just kind of his smarts, you know. People don't really talk about how smart Lamar Jackson is running the football. Josh Allen will take a hit in a heartbeat. He'll take a hit in a heartbeat. You tell me what's more valuable. The guy who can elude defenders and get the same amount of yards as the guy who takes hits time after time after time from defenders, which we know adds up. Which is more valuable to you? Which do you think is going to last longer? Which do you think is more sustainable? And I love that word sustainable. I love that word sustainable. Because guess what? Guess what, man? Everybody else, all the media pundits, the national media, 5, 6 years ago, they all said the same thing. I was looking at tweets from Booger McFarland yesterday from ESPN. Still works for ESPN, I want to say. Was saying that, Lamar Jackson, just wait 2, 3 seasons. He's going to be hurt. He's going to be banged up. He's not going to be in this league anymore. He should have switched to running back. He should have switched to wide receiver. That style of play is not sustainable. But if you watch Lamar Jackson play and how good he is at not take, let me give this to you. Let me give this to you. Don just turned me up. Don just turned me up. Because you want to know what's valuable in this league? Having a quarterback who can throw the hell out of the football, but who can also run the hell out of the football. But when he does run, he has a talent, not only to evade defenders, but he has a talent, a special talent that nobody else has to evade big hits. Why, if you watch Lamar Jackson play, all of you guys watching right now have watched Lamar Jackson play. Okay? All of you guys watching have watched Lamar Jackson play. Well, most of you guys, because most of you guys are Ravens fans. When he takes off running, do you ever see him going head first into a guy? Do you ever see him getting decleated by a guy? No, you don't. You don't. Because he's that shifty. He's that elusive to where he does not take big hits. If that is not value when it comes to a rushing quarterback, I don't know what is. I don't know what is. That's value. That is value. Don says Allen does the tush push now and robs James Cook for at least 10 touchdowns this year. Facts. Yeah, I think Josh Allen has what? Maybe 6 or 7. I want to say 7 tush push touchdowns this year. You know, Lamar Jackson doesn't have to do that because he has Derrick Henry. But can you imagine if Josh Allen didn't have those tush push touchdowns? You know, his rushing touchdowns will probably be similar to that of Lamar Jackson's, which is so ironic and funny because people used to criticize Lamar Jackson for running the football so much. People used to criticize Lamar Jackson for running the football so much. Man, I don't understand. I don't understand. Jessica Bass says, I want a shot. Jessica Bass is my lovely, lovely girlfriend. I know she wants a shot. I can tell her she can come in the room right now. I mean, we live together. Full disclosure. Of course. We live together. She's a Giants fan. You guys saw on the stream the other week. She's a Giants fan. She can come here. She can take a shot with me. She can take a shot. She's gonna come here and take a shot with me. You guys are gonna say hi to my girlfriend Jessica. It's my lovely lady. My lovely, lovely lady. You guys make sure you say hello. Give her some love. Give her some love. The Don, of course, the dog. The dog wants to take one too. You gotta get on stream, babe. You gotta get on stream. You gotta get on stream.
This for you.
Here she is. Come on, there she is. There she is.
So big on here.
No, love her. Okay. Gonna get her a shot too. This is for the entire Ravens flock, right? Happy hour with Sutton. Sean Cole says turn up. That's what we doing. There you go.
Right.
Taquan says, hey Jessica.
Hello.
They're saying hello. You're not even in the camera, babe. Come on, you gotta get in the camera.
You're holding, you're holding the camera.
Let me get in there.
I don't want to block the PRP.
There you go. It's okay. It's okay. But yeah. Donna sending the hard eyes. Let's go. Let's go. Tyler Brown says, Sutton, what's up? Rain Gang, what's up? Jess, what's up? I'll pour a shot later.
Love.
Appreciate you, Tyler. Appreciate you, Tyler. Jeremiah says, love,
we want
love.
Proof of that too.
Yeah. We want proof of that shot, Tyler. We want proof of that shot, Tyler. Make sure you DM me. Darth Vader. What's going on, Darth Vader? Says MVP is a sympathy reward. They feel bad for Josh Allen since he has 0. Lamar is the MVP.
You taking one too?
I just took one. I took one for Don. I'm only taking one with the donations.
You just said it's for the PRP.
Well, no, this is for you, so you can take one. So you don't.
Okay, this is for you guys, right here.
She's taking one for the Rain Gang, guys. She's taking one for the Rain Gang.
That was easy.
She said that was easy, and there she goes. Love you, baby.
Come
Okay. All right. Back to it. Back to it. Back to it. Jeremiah says, "Celebrate well, my friends. We will. We will. Thank you so much, Jeremiah." But yeah, Darth Vader says MVP is a sympathy reward. They feel bad for Josh Allen since he has no MVP so far. Lamar is the MVP. Yeah, it is what it is. What it is, right? And like, I'm so conflicted about this. I'm so conflicted about this, and the reason why is because like, I would rather Lamar Jackson lose regular season MVP and win Super Bowl MVP, right? But at the same time, I do also understand this. When Lamar Jackson's career is over, when it's all said and done, right? When it's all said and done, I would want Lamar Jackson to have as many MVPs as he deserves. And I'm sorry if I think that Lamar Jackson deserves MVP this year. Actually, I'm not sorry. Fuck that. I'm not sorry. He deserves MVP this year. He's got the stats. He doesn't have the interceptions that Josh Allen had last year, right? You know what I mean? Neither team this year has the 1 seed. The Chiefs own the 1 seed. So that's not an argument. I'm just, like Jeremiah says, make it make sense. Imagine anyone else with 39-4. Jeremiah, I don't know if you were here when I said this earlier, but imagine if Tom Brady or Aaron Rodgers in their MVP seasons also had 800 some odd yards rushing. We'd be regarding that as, oh, this is the best quarterback season ever. It's not going to be touched. Imagine if Tom Brady, on top of throwing for 4,000 yards passing and 40 plus odd touchdowns, also had 800 something yards rushing. Can you imagine? It's insane. It's insulting, right? The narratives are insulting, quite literally, Jeremiah. So Sean says Lamar breaks every record he runs into. Why wouldn't he have 3 MVPs? Y'all making me mad. Y'all making me mad, man. I mean, I'm just getting fired up. I'm getting fired up, man. I'm getting fired up listening to y'all talking about this because, like, y'all are so right. Y'all are so right. I want to get a Bills fan in here. I want to get a Bills fan in here to tell me otherwise. Can y'all mention Bills Mafia or something? I don't, man. It's ridiculous. Dre says you definitely should not feel sorry, bro. LOL. Don't let the media make you feel bad because they want to give Allen a pity award. Darth Vader says that Jackson 5 versus the Browns will be the answer to who wins it. I disagree. I disagree. I think even if Lamar Jackson goes out there on Saturday, tomorrow that is, and throws 5, 6, 7 touchdowns against the Browns, I still think that there's going to be people who argue you down. They will argue you down on why Josh Allen deserves it over Lamar Jackson. Even if he extends the gap. And oh, by the way, did you guys hear? Did you guys catch word that even though the Bills have locked up the 2 seed, Josh Allen is still going to play tomorrow? Oh, on Sunday. Did you guys hear that? They said that the Josh Allen will be limited. I saw a tweet earlier today from Adam Schefter, right? The leading NFL insider, Adam Schefter, on X. He said that Josh Allen would be limited on Sunday. They signed quarterback Mike White. Some of you guys might be familiar with Mike White, AFC East anti-legend, whatever you want to call it, right? The Bills signed Mike White to come in after they bench Josh Allen, as if they need Josh Allen at all tomorrow. As if they need Josh Allen at all tomorrow. They're still going to, oh, not tomorrow, Sunday. I keep thinking tomorrow. I keep thinking that, tomorrow's Sunday since the Ravens are playing, but I forget since it's the end of the season, we got teams playing on Saturday. We've been playing on prime time for the past month, it feels like, almost. But half a month, that is. But again, Josh Allen is probably going to play on Sunday in a meaningless game against the Patriots. They already have the 2 seed locked up. So you talk about stat padding. Sean says it here, man. Stat padding at its finest. At its finest, man. And I don't understand it. Dre says it as well. Dre says it too. I just don't. I gotta tilt my hat for this one, guys. It's tilted hat Sutton. Yes, I'm getting a little bit lit. Yes, the shots are getting to me a little bit. Sure, this is happy hour with Sutton. Again, this is happy hour with Sutton. I don't get it. I don't get it. Meanwhile, you got Saquon Barkley getting shut down for the regular season when he's on the verge of breaking Eric Dickerson's record, his rushing record. He's getting shut down, Saquon Barkley. But Josh Allen, who's already got the 2 seed locked up in his conference, come on, man. Come on, man. KP says he's probably playing one drive, to be honest. But why? Why? For what? For what? Why is he playing one drive? Why is he even playing one drive? Why risk Josh Allen, your MVP candidate quarterback? I'm not going to call him MVP until the day that they actually give him the award, which I'm sure they will at this point. You know, why even play him at all? Why play him at all? I got to take a drink. I got to take a drink to that. They want to keep his starting streak alive. Why? Again, tell me why. Why? It's not the starting streak. It's so he can get maybe a touchdown or two more so he can close the gap on Lamar Jackson's total touchdowns. That's it. That's it. Because he knows Lamar Jackson. I'll put it like this. I'll put it like this. If the Steelers played before the Ravens tomorrow and the Steelers lost, and after the Steelers lost, the Ravens would lock up the AFC North. And the Ravens did not play Lamar Jackson in that 8 p.m. game. I guarantee you the Bills would have zero reason to trot Josh Allen out there and play on Sunday against the Patriots with nothing to play for. Neither team has anything to play for. Patriots aren't making the playoffs. Bills have already locked up the 2 seed. So what reason other than, oh, we just want to keep Josh Allen neck and neck with Lamar Jackson in the MVP race? What other reason? What other reason? Oh man. Oh man. I'm getting pissed, man. Getting pissed. I'm getting pissed. Let me see. Tyler Brown says stat pad and score a rushing touchdown. That's the only metric they use. LOL. Everything else is semantics. Hey man, if I might blow a gasket if Josh Allen gets one more tush push touchdown on Sunday. Like just for stat padding purposes, I might blow a gasket if he gets that tush push touchdown, and then in a few weeks at the NFL Honors Awards, they reward him with MVP. And of course, there's only but so many MVP voters in the Associated Press, which is as we all know, that's the people who vote for the MVP, media members. A couple of notable names, Emmanuel Acho. I think it's already written down for him. He's voting Josh Allen, right? Dan Orlovsky, it's already written down for him. Mind is made up. He's voting Josh Allen this year. I think it's Mina Kimes. Yeah, Mina Kimes came out today and said that she was voting for Lamar Jackson for MVP. So either way, it's not going to be unanimous. It's not going to be unanimous. Okay? Let me straighten my hat again. I'm not as pissed. I'm not as pissed. But it's not going to be unanimous this year. And I think that says a lot. I think that says a lot. So, man, I don't know, man. It pisses me off just talking about it more and more, to be honest with you. Dre says it's the MVP award. It is. It is. It really, really is. And in the playoffs, honestly, I hope we see the Bills in the playoffs. I really, really do hope we see the Bills in the playoffs. I do. I would love to see the Buffalo Bills in the playoffs. And I will tell you this: Twitter X will be in an absolute frenzy that day, that night, whenever they play. And I will be there. I will be there. I will be there. Yeah, man. All right. So again, this has been Happy Hour with Sutton. I think I'm gonna leave it right here for now. Um, Let me see. I got my guy the Flock rundown in here. Before I get out of here, says we smacking Bills in divisional round in Buffalo. That's what I'm talking about. Flock rundown. That's what I'm talking about. That's the energy I like up in here. You know what I'm saying? Bills divisional round, right? I cannot wait. I can't wait. A divisional round rematch against the Bills. We go out there and we slap them around. You're not going to hear the end of it from Ravens fans. And on the inverse, if the Bills beat us, we're not going to hear the end of it. So this year is really, 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 really shaping up to be one of the most, oh man, I don't want to say controversial, but in terms of fanfare, this is going to be one of the most entertaining postseasons in a long time. In a long time, I'll say that. Shout out to the Fly Rundown, another awesome Ravens YouTuber as well. Make sure you go subscribe to him too. Let me see what else you guys are saying here. Jeremiah says they don't want that. Yeah, I know they don't, because according to Bills fans, and I feel like this is a little bit of copium here. They're more afraid of Derrick Henry than they are Lamar Jackson. Okay, be afraid of both, bitch. Quite frankly, be afraid of both, because I guarantee you, in the playoffs, there's going to be some fakes to Derrick Henry where your linebackers get pulled in close, and Lamar Jackson hits you over the top to Mark Andrews, to Isaiah Likely, to Rashad Bateman, to Zay Flowers. Be ready for that, and then let me know who you're more afraid of. Be ready for Lamar Jackson escapes the pocket, and he's not afraid to decide whether or not to run or to pass, and he runs all over your defense. Be afraid of that, Bills Mafia. Just saying. Just saying. Just so, hey, like I said, I'm gonna leave it there for this one. Again, thank all y'all for coming through. This has been Happy Hour with your boy Sutton Def from the Purple Rain Podcast YouTube channel. Make sure you like this video, subscribe to the channel as well, and I will catch you guys in the next one. I love all you guys. Make sure you stay positive, test negative, and never, ever, ever, ever forget to call God. I'm gonna catch you guys next one. Peace.